So in part one, we finished all these calculations, and for the second part, we're gonna visualize our data. Obviously, as a business owner or a business analytic, or if you're working for somebody that if you're working for someone using Excel, you're gonna have to present your data, and it's a lot easier to look at charts, and it's a lot easier to infer some information when looking at your data visualized, as opposed to just a series of numbers left and right. So, and Excel has that ability. But before we do that, let's find out our totals. So we have here, we need to calculate the numbers of cakes sold, meaning that the total of all these cakes here. And we're going to put it here. And as always, we're going to use an equation or a function, and I'm going to use it equals. Now there is a built-in function in Excel that calculates the sum of two cells or multiple cells. Obviously, you can go ahead and do it the manual way, and let me zoom out. You can do something like this, where you calculate each cell. So it's going to be C4, nope, B3, B4 plus B5, so on and so forth until the end. Well, there's a built-in function for that, and it's called sum. So you're going to write sum, you're going to open parentheses, and you're going to start with the first cell. That's going to be B3, and now you're going to put a colon, and then the end cell, that's going to be B13. And you can see here that it's gonna add the sum, so it's gonna add all of the cells between B3 and B13. So between B3 all the way to B13, all these cells, it's gonna add them together. And we have our number here. Now you're gonna be using the function sum a little bit differently if you're adding two cells, right? So if you're adding two cells, you're gonna be let me put it here so we don't get confused. You're going to do something like sum, open parentheses. You're going to put the first cell that you want to add, let's say B4, and then comma, let's say B13. So this will add two numbers or two cells together if it's separated by a comma. Now if you put a colon here in the middle, it's going to add all the cells between B4 and B13. And this is a very important distinction. So in here, in this case, we put a colon. And that's basically going to add all the cells from B3 all the way to B13. Right? I wrote it down here, and I wrote it down on the notes. So if you're a little bit confused, if you need to review, it's already written there. Just you need to remember that a colon, you'll add everything in between the two cells that you mentioned. So we have 5,666 cakes. Now, would it make sense to have the total here? You know, would it make sense? Would it give us any meaningful value? You know, would it give us a number that we would care about? Obviously not. I mean, you can't really add prices as a total. That's like going to Starbucks and then adding each price of each unit. It's not going to give you a meaningful value that you can use. But the salesperson's total sales, this will give you the number or the total sales that you've generated. So this is important. So let's go ahead and do that. Sum, and I think it's D3. This is the starting cell, colon D13. And it gave us total amount of sales. Obviously, if a bakery is making $90,000 in maybe a month or even a year, that's a pretty good number. Okay, for now you can actually even do these, or you can even do that if you would like. But for now, I just want to know the total sales that I've generated and the number of cakes that I've sold. Now, if I present this to a manager or to my employer, or if I'm just looking at this from the perspective of the business owner, it can be very difficult, a little bit challenging to sort of infer or make conclusions about the data. And to make it easier I'm gonna create charts. Now, charts visualize your numbers. It makes it easier to read, to see any significant data that you might want to see. And the first one that we're gonna do is a pie chart. A pie chart is basically a pie. It's a pie chart. That's what it is. Let me show you what it is. What a pie chart is. For now, I just want to see the amount of cakes sold as a percentage for each salesperson. Right. This is a significant number. I want to know who's the salesperson that sells the most amount of cakes, and who's the salesperson that sells the least. So I'm just going to highlight these two. I'm going to go to Insert. And then I'm going to go to pie chart, insert a pie chart or a donut chart, and I'm going to press the first one right here. And there it is. As you can see, we have a pie chart, and in the legend or in the key, you have the salespersons. And then the pie chart basically, it gives you the amount of cakes sold per salesperson, as part of a pie. And if we go up here in the chart tools design, it will automatically open if you select your chart. If you can see on the ribbon right here, if I click on the chart, it's gonna open up. And let me choose a better chart style. Maybe I want numbers, something like this. You can even add a chart element, but we can go over these in a different video. So let me choose something. Yeah, there it is. So this one right here is a good example. It gives me percentages, and with this pie chart right here, I can immediately see that Yamil, right? Yep, Yamil sold the most amount of cakes in relation to the rest of the salespersons. So at 21%, Yamil is generating almost 1/4 of the business. And this conclusion I made in 5 seconds. All I had to do was just look at the chart. And so this is one of the benefits of having charts and visualizing your data in an Excel spreadsheet. And as you saw, it was pretty easy to create this chart. Let me remove it and let's try again. The most important thing that you need to remember is selecting your data. So I'm going to highlight these two cells, and then I'm going to insert the chart. That's it. And Excel will do all the calculations for you. So the most important thing is selecting the correct data. Okay? Right here, chart, and then I'm just going to choose a nice layout that I like. Okay, which one was the one that we chose earlier? There it is. Okay. So this tells us the amount of sales, the quantity sold per salesperson. This is a good number that we need to find out, right? Obviously, the least cake sold is at 0%, and I think it's this guy right here. So this is the salesperson that sold the least amount of cakes. Now, we can also visualize, or we can also put this in a chart. I think it would be very helpful to see how much money your sales associates actually generated, right? And to do that, you're going to have to select this one right here and this one right here, because you want your data sort of attached to the names themselves. If you visualize this by itself, you're not going to know which number is connected to what salesperson. Just like we did here, we selected both of these, but you're going to have to do something else to sort of highlight these two at the same time. And all you have to do is press Control on your keyboard in order to select two independent cells or two independent columns. Obviously, if you want to highlight something or two columns together, if they're next to each other, you can just hover and do that. But if you want to select two separate entities, you're going to have to highlight the first one and then press Control on your keyboard, and press and hold Control, and then highlight the second one. So now you have two fields that are separated, but also you can that are highlighted. So let's go to Insert, and let's put a column chart. And as always, I'm gonna choose a nice layout that gives me the numbers that is easy to read. So I'm gonna choose a one that has numbers on top of it. Maybe it will be helpful. This one is not clear. This one is not good if you're using a printer. So okay, so for now, let me just do. I'm just gonna choose this one right here, and then I can manually insert the numbers. Okay, so this is what I have here: the salesperson and the total money generated on the left here. I can go on the add chart elements, and then I can go to data labels, and then I'm just gonna put them on top. And this is basically gonna label my chart, and it's gonna give me the exact numbers on top. Obviously you can change styles, or you can have anything that you'd like. But here, the point of this exercise is that if you look at your data here, right? If you look at your data here and you're trying to make conclusions, or you're trying to figure out who made the most amount of sales, who made the most amount of money, who's kind of didn't make money at all, you're gonna have to look around a lot here. You're gonna have to go up and down. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to do that. But when you have a chart, it's very easy to see that, hey, this number right here stands out, as in Yamil sold the most amount and generated the most amount of revenue for you. So this is the entire exercise. This is all it. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have notes here, and go on Google Classroom. You're gonna find all the material that is associated with this exercise. You're gonna find an empty worksheet, and you're gonna find this exact worksheet as a solution.